Hey everybody, Nick Espinosa, your chief security fanatic here, and today we actually have to talk about U.S. first responders because, quite frankly, they're kind of screwed on the cyber front here because U.S. public safety agencies cannot handle cyber attacks right now. Here's what's going on. This is coming from Cyberscoop, and this is quite terrifying for the infrastructure of the United States. There is widespread concern among U.S. public safety personnel that their organizations are not equipped to defend against cyber attacks, and that's according to a new survey of first responders across all 50 states in the USA. Now, overall, less than 50% of all respondents said that their agencies are, and I quote, at least somewhat prepared in case of a cyber attack, end quote. Now, that is according to Verizon's Frontline Public Safety Communications Survey. Law enforcement agencies reported stronger confidence than others in their ability to thwart attacks, but overall only 15% said their agencies are very prepared. 56% said they are only somewhat prepared, meaning there are gaps in that. That is obviously a huge problem because we know cybersecurity has to be holistic for defense. Now, this survey was of 1,825 first responders from across the United States. This is a group that includes everything from fire departments, emergency medical services, police, emergency call centers like 911. All of this all basically is a huge problem. And obviously, one of the biggest significant issues they still have as they are facing is ransomware. As you know, I do Breaches of the Week every Sunday, and we've always got some kind of government agency. Unfortunately, my last one was basically an EMS service, emergency medical services out of New York. So huge problem. Now, earlier this year, the FBI did warn local governments that, and I quote, cyber actors conducting ransomware attacks on local government agencies have resulted in disrupted operational services, risks to public safety, and financial losses. Now, cybersecurity was just one part, though, of what this survey focused on, essentially as first responders are looking at adopting and then obviously relying on first technologies, which obviously have to be hardened. The last thing you want is your technology going down when you are responding to some kind of emergency call, whatever that is. Now, respondents said that while smartphones and land mobile radio are technologies that they are relying on heavily today, they predicted that some other greater, more rarer technologies at the moment are bound for greater use. This, interestingly enough, included augmented and virtual reality, which today are only 1% in use of these respondents, according to this survey, meaning they could be using augmented and virtual reality for training. Basically think about a firefighter in a smoke-filled room without being in a smoke-filled room and understanding how to navigate all of these things before you actually throw them into a smoke-filled room. Same with police officers, let's say, having to learn how to go around corners and all of that. Now, obviously, there is nothing better than learning in person, meaning on actual training courses, but this might be something that essentially helps. Not to mention augmented reality, when you start to get real-time updates about you and your other first responders in the area. These are things that we think are going to be adopted, which means they have to be hardened, they have to be reliable, they cannot go down, whether it's a cyber attack or any other event. Now, 20% of first responders also said that they believe AR and VR will be important in the next 5 years for whatever field they are in. Drones, interestingly enough, are only used by 8% of responders, and that is expected to go to 40% in the same time frame, meaning you can quickly fly a drone into something, get a bird's eye view of whatever you're trying to do without putting somebody in harm. This is like the bomb disposal robots that they actually have try to disarm the bomb so no human gets blown to bits. Now, interconnected vehicles used in 41% of these responding agencies were projected to be basically 64% of respondents in the coming years as well, meaning a lot of these are radio-based, but they don't have internet-connected vehicles right now, and that could be very important as we are looking at, let's say, integrating things like Google Maps technology or other type of mapping technology to allow the first responders to see possible alternate routes about how they would go through, let's say, congestion or construction or other things like that. Now, the Verizon report also points to 5G wireless as critical technology to support many of these emerging technologies, and of course, Verizon is one of the largest providers of 5G technology, so that's going to be important, but that's actually true outside of Verizon's bias in that is a huge thing. 77% of all respondents agreed that 5G is going to be a top priority, or at least an important priority for the future of public safety in general, not just for their specific departments wherever they are. First responders also named unreliable networks, outdated tools, and lack of interoperability as their top 3 concerns when it comes to this. Only 4% said they considered customer service when choosing a network provider to be an issue. And I think that maybe, okay, Verizon, only 4% really don't, have an issue or want to look at customer service. And number 2, I don't know any service provider out there, internet service provider out there, that has good customer service. And so 96% of us just say, we know it's going to suck no matter where we go customer service wise. They just have to be reliable. They've got to be on the ball. They can't let us go down. We are first responders. So I thought that was an interesting survey. I think it's an important survey. And I think it's also a little concerning that while obviously we've got a lot of them that have plans and they understand this, more than half of them are only somewhat really reliable for this, and it's almost single digits in those that really think they are ready to thwart a full-on ransomware attack. This has to improve, as does local, state, and also federal government. So we'll see where this goes, but that is your news of the day. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP, and feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well. And as always, stay safe, stay online, and please attempt to stay private. Thanks, everyone.